Hi and welcome back to Fatten the Curve. My name's Jack Holmes and throughout 2020 I've been using my platform as a stand-up comedian to encourage social distancing and self-isolation.
Attention quarantine breakers, what do you have in common with thoughts and prayers? You are all utterly worthless in times of crisis.
But with the year coming to an end, most of us are now thinking towards the holidays and coming to the depressing realization that we might be separated from our friends and family. So today, I'm showing you a full meal plan for a festive holiday dinner that is going to lift your spirits quicker than coming to the realization that Christmas get-togethers held over Zoom mean you can literally just mute your family when the conversation gets uncomfortable. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. I'm British, and throughout history, Britain has committed a great number of crimes that need to be addressed and apologized for. From Myanmar to Milo Yiannopoulos, Britain has released more misfortune into this world than a Wuhan wet market. But atop a long list of concentration camps and colonization, no war crime committed by us has been more heinous than our food. Look, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I'm just saying if you lived in a country where jellied eels were considered a delicacy, you'd colonize India too. However, despite the constant and deserved bashing that British food takes, a few shining examples do deserve to be highlighted. Fish and chips is just Wiener Schnitzel and potato salad for people who know how to swim. Beans on toast is simply an open-faced burrito. And Marmite. Marmite is delicious, get over it. And much like God, who rested on the seventh day, on Sundays, Britain takes a break from its war against flavour and sits down to a roast dinner. A palette of varying and delicious flavours and textures, all cooked with the overwhelming sense of familial togetherness. And our Christmas dinners are just that, with the addition of everyone at the table having to avoid eye contact when someone inevitably starts ranting about how Muslims are ruining the country. Traditionally, the English Christmas dinner used to be centred around goose. However, no one can really afford to cook goose anymore because if you cook goose on Christmas Day, you have to pay a large royalty to Charles Dickens. So in recent years, people have opted for turkey instead, and I don't fuck with turkey because it's been scientifically proven that turkeys are just peacocks with no self-esteem, and I refuse to eat anything that doesn't believe in itself. So I'm going to be cooking a nut roast instead. And alongside our nut roast, we are serving maple carrots, cauliflower cheese, roast potatoes, and peas, because not everything needs to be an endeavor. Now please don't let the fact that there's no meat in this dinner allow you to think that I'm trying to promote a cruelty-free Christmas. In fact, it's quite the opposite. For my girlfriend's gift this year, I have simply written the word anal on a piece of paper and I've put that inside of an engagement ring box. Essentially, a nut roast is a cake made out of nuts, breadcrumbs, and vegetables. Now, I'm aware that doesn't sound appealing, but in England, we refer to these as Taylor Swifts because they sound fucking disgusting, but they are delightful for every other sense involved. Start by toasting 200 grams of loosely chopped mixed nuts in a dry frying pan. Keep moving until brown spots appear and then set aside. Dump one finely chopped onion into an oiled skillet and begin sauteing until soft and browned, and add in 3 cloves of finely minced garlic and 5 sliced mushrooms. Stir that until everything is soft and add in 1 tablespoon of flour and keep stirring until the raw flour smell is gone. Pour in 1 1/4 cups of vegetable stock, season with salt and black pepper and pour in your chopped nuts. Give a good mix and then add in a tablespoon of soy sauce and 2 teaspoons of mixed herbs. Mix together and then start adding in 1 1/2 cups of breadcrumbs, a bit at a time to make sure you don't pour in too much. Lube up a baking dish and pour in your nut mixture and begin gently forming it into kind of a log shape, and then stick it in a preheated oven at 220 degrees and cook for 35 minutes or until you can stick a knife into it and pull it out with the blade clean. For an added bonus, mix 1 or 2 cups of vegetable stock with a generous teaspoon of Marmite and use that to baste the roast every 15 minutes or so. When it's done, you will be rewarded with this savory slice of moist heaven. Roast potatoes are the cornerstone to any traditional Christmas dinner. They're crunchy, they're fluffy, they're delicious. I promise you, you will never be able to make enough of these, so let's go roast some potatoes. I don't know if you're food or if you're just what happens when a rock fucks a carbohydrate. You're so disgusting, even the Russians would rather drink you than eat you. Seriously, I've seen more taste in a Persian brothel. And now that's out of our system, let's make some roast potatoes. Chaotically splash some potatoes that you have peeled and quartered into a vat of boiling water. Don't worry, burning your toes just adds to the flavor. Parboil them for 10 minutes as this frees the communist ghost that lay trapped within. Drain off the water, and then like any good new parent, start gently shaking the baby. The idea here is to scuff up the outside of the potatoes as this will enhance their future crispiness. Take your roasting vessel of choice and pour in half a centimeter of vegetable oil and preheat. I've gone with cast iron for the added bonus of weighing a metric fuck ton as well as getting as hot as the devil's dick on a barbecue. Once the oil is hot, and I mean this hot, throw in the rest of your potatoes, leaving a bit of room in between each, and carefully return to the oven, and I mean carefully. Occasionally flip the potatoes, and after about 30 to 45 minutes, you should have a batch of these golden, delicious nuggets of perfection. Did you know that Canadians put the Queen on their money? Well, as a sign of respect, once a year I honour them by putting maple syrup on a vegetable. Hi Canada, don't worry, we hate our French neighbours too. On medium heat, saute 1 teaspoon of butter with 1 teaspoon of olive oil. If that's too indulgent for you, then perhaps putting maple syrup on your vegetables isn't for you. Peel and chop your carrots and throw them into the pan, mix everything together, and once softened slightly, pour in a splash of water and cover to let steam for about 10 minutes or until fork tender. Remove the lid and hit with a generous splash of maple syrup. Crank the heat to medium-high and keep the carrots moving until most of the excess liquid has been cooked off. Season with some cracked sea salt and presto, you've incorporated diabetes into one of your 5 a day. 'Tis the season to deck your arteries with bowls of cholesterol, so fuck it, why not take the last vegetable that you're gonna eat before the new year and bake it in cheese sauce? It might sound decadent, but I promise you, you are never going to look at a cauliflower the same way again. This is the best thing Britain has ever done. It tastes like watching Brexit in reverse. Start by parboiling the cauliflower florets for about 2 minutes. Drain and return the pot to the stove and begin making a roux by mixing 2 tablespoons of butter with 2 tablespoons of flour. Don't make the same mistake I did by adding less flour, you want your roux to be thicker than this. Start slowly whisking in 2 cups of oat milk, and once everything's incorporated, add in 1 or 2 tablespoons of mustard, some hot sauce, and some garlic powder. Keep the sauce moving and then add in your cheese. Lots and lots and lots of cheese. Once that's melted and thickened to your desired consistency, remove it from the heat and pour over your cauliflower, making sure everything's mixed properly. Top off with some more cheese and maybe some leftover breadcrumbs if you want it to be a bit crispy, and bake in the oven for about 30 minutes or until it looks like this. You can then either eat it or, if you so choose, make love to it. Either way, make sure it cools to avoid any unpleasant burns. This is granulated gravy powder. It works by pouring hot water over it, essentially making it a meat tea, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. You can jazz it up if you want to, but it's fine as is. 99% of people in England make their gravy from this, and normally I would too. But now I have a cooking show, which means I am obligated to make gravy from scratch, god fucking damn it. Pour some good quality olive oil into a large pot and start sauteing a handful of mushrooms. Large surface area is the key for maximum caramelization. Once the mushrooms are brown, toss in 1 very roughly chopped onion. You should start to notice some fond building up on the bottom of the pot, and this is exactly what you want to happen. If vegetables could make crack, this would be it. Throw in a carrot and 2 sticks of celery and dust that with a tablespoon of flour. Mix, and once the raw flour smell is gone, add in a cup of red wine using the bored housewife measurement. That's 1 for me, 1 for you. Once the wine has reduced, add in 1 teaspoon of Marmite along with whatever fresh herbs you are able to acquire, plus a bay leaf or 2. Pour in some vegetable stock and start deglazing the bottom and sides of the pot to make sure all that delicious brown stuff is incorporated. Add in a tablespoon of soy sauce, and once everything has reduced, remove from the heat and pour the mixture through a strainer, making sure to squeeze out every last possible drop of liquid. And boom, you have just made a very delicious and very worthwhile gravy. Who's a good little overachiever? You can just make peas. You don't need to tart this up with kale butter or flambe it with an avocado reduction. It's been a hard year for us all. Cut yourself some slack and just steam some peas. But if you want to be a little bit extra, start by pouring a very high-end bottle of true French champagne into a pot and season with around €45 in cash. taste to make sure the flavor is to your liking, mine needs a bit more wealth, and then add in a steam basket and throw in some fresh Himalayan peas. Cover, and then literally a second or two later your peas should be cooked through, so now's the time to hit them with a generous spoonful of bone marrow from a pterodactyl. If you can't get pterodactyl bone marrow, then you're a heathen. Don't even bother with any part of this recipe video. Your Christmas is going to suck no matter what you do. Look, there's no shot of me eating this one because I had to cook and film on separate days, but if you want proof that I ate it, take a look at me and tell me I don't look like I eat 2 of these a day. So thanks very much for watching this. Let me know down in the comments if you end up cooking this on Christmas Day or any other day for that matter. Please remember to like and subscribe, or even better, please just share this video with some friends that you think might enjoy it. It's been an absolute dog shit year, and I'm really hoping that next year I might be able to go back to touring as a comedian again at some point, and it would be really nice to see some new faces because of these videos. So if you want to help me out, that's the best way you can do it. So that's it for 2020, and thank the splintered Easter stick of Jesus for that. For real, I know a lot of us are separated from our families at the moment, but please avoid traveling if you can, wear a mask, stay safe, and fingers crossed, with any luck next year we might be able to get a bit of normality back in our lives. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Jack Holmes, and I'll see you in 2021. Side note, my girlfriend comes from Slovakia, and for a traditional Slovak Christmas dinner, they eat immeasurable sadness.